Okay, I'm excited because I have like 3 video ideas. I haven't made a video in a while because a lot of times I'll have like kind of a thought for a video or something, but it feels like forcing it. Like I've done plenty of videos for that reason, I'm sure, probably most of the ones on my channel. But then sometimes I'll really actually want to do a video and ramble to nobody about stuff. And right now I have like 3 pretty good video ideas, I believe. This is the first one. I want to do one on the Wise smartwatch review. I got the Wise brand $25 smartwatch. And I want to do one probably on why Destiny 2 on PC sucks. That's probably why my channel never will gain any traction, because I do such wide topics. I do gun videos, I do tech videos, I do Destiny videos. Those are probably like my main 3. I also do NBA videos. But I also thought it might be cool to do my own thing and be the first channel that like does whatever they want. Hence my channel name, talking about stuff. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to work to make me popular. Oh, it doesn't help that my videos suck. My voice is not clear. I'm not good at talking, things like that. I don't have like a really great personality. When I look around YouTube, the quality of the videos these guys do, I see videos of guys who don't even really have many viewers, and they're like so good, that the production values are so good. The people are so thorough and talented, and these are a lot of times on channels that hardly have any views, and, they're like great, It's hard to compete, man. And all I do is like unedited trash videos. I've never even edited one of my videos. I've never even made a thumbnail. I don't do any scripts. I may do a thumbnail on this one. I'll have to figure it out. It would be good to learn. I did edit one not too long ago, a little bit. But I edited it out like 2 seconds or something. That's it. Anyways, I sniff all the time. That's annoying. I don't know if it's just a thing when I make videos, if I do that in real life and don't notice or what. But anyway, I have allergies or something all the time. I have like a big nose and like my I don't know. Anyways, onto the video. Why I won't buy a OnePlus smartphone anymore. I want to be controversial like the big tech channels and make a like a clickbait video. Why I won't buy a OnePlus anymore. But there's a few reasons why OnePlus has kind of fallen out of favor. To do my history, I always had Samsung flagships, and then I got a OnePlus 7 Pro about 2 years ago. I've been real happy with it, to be honest. Kind of a weird lead into the video. There's a few quibbles I have with it, and I've made plenty of long, boring videos about my OnePlus 7 Pro where you could hear those. Mainly a few things like it doesn't have wireless charging, which I always complain about how reviewers pay too much attention to wireless charging, but it is nice. It's nice to be able to just lay your phone down instead of having to plug it in. Plugging it in and fishing out that little plug every night is annoying. That's probably on the ground because that's how you do it. So wireless charging is nice, but it's not a big deal either. I don't like, it was right in that time frame about 2 years ago where like rounded curved edges were big and they were pretty angled and pretty aggressive. And since then, everybody's figured out that, hey, people like more flat screens better. And so that some of them are still curved, but it's much less aggressive and like, smaller of a curve. And just the OnePlus 7 Pro, it is pretty curved on the edges. Pretty extreme, so that's kind of a negative, but it's not a huge deal. It's a little annoying. Like I said, it's more of a byproduct of the time of the phone than anything. That's just how phones were around that time. And now they're all going to less curved or no curve. It has the pop-up selfie camera, which I thought was great, but nobody does the pop-up camera anymore, so that just tells me it was a bad idea. It might also make kind of a popping sound sometimes. At first I thought it was hitting the edge of my case, but then I realized it's not. That's just doing the popping sound on its own, kind of a clicking. I don't use it much and I don't care. But I see now that the issues with it, sometimes it doesn't do the clicking sound. I think it's not doing it currently when it opens. I had one time where it got stuck. It had some kind of sticky crap on it, and it got stuck. It literally wouldn't pop out, but I kept working it up and down a little bit, popping it up and down. Once I got it free with my finger nail, I pulled it, and it eventually worked itself free. It just got some kind of sticky gunk on it and got stuck. But I mean, for the most part, I don't have a problem with the pop-up camera. But they're not into. I mean, it's nice to have the full screen, I will say, and I probably will notice it when I go back to a punch hole camera style. But like I say, it is kind of a weird thing, and it makes the cases weird because they have to have a cutout for that pop-up camera, and it kind of makes them. It's hard to explain, but like they're not structurally sound because they have to have a break in the case so that the pop-up camera can come up. They usually have like the front edge of the case is not continuous. It just has a stop hole there because there's no way to put like a little. It's hard to explain, but it honestly makes me think the cases are going to be less effective if it falls on that end because they have to have a cutout for the selfie cam pop-up. But again, it's all kind of no big deal, and I've had it for 2 years now. Dropped it a couple times. Been fortunate it hasn't it has not it has not been an issue too much. I don't love it. I don't hate it. And but yeah, I noticed nobody's doing the pop-up camera anymore, so it must not be good. And it probably increases the cost, I'm sure. And I guess that it probably just causes more returns because people get people get defective ones. But on to the stuff, the phone, the OnePlus. Why? I probably won't buy another one. Now, first of all, the main reason. Now in reviews, people say a lot. They always say like, "Oh, the Oxygen OS that OnePlus uses is so clean. It's close to stock Android. It's so great." Blah 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 blah. I'll say that okay, but I haven't really found it to be that great. I mean, maybe if I go back to Samsung, I'll be annoyed at all the clutter on them or something. But you don't really notice it. You don't really care, to be honest. And to be honest, it's a little boring. It's plain Jane vanilla. It's a little boring. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll miss it when I go back to Samsung, as I probably will, as the point of this video is. But yeah, I mean, and I've liked my OnePlus 7 Pro. I don't know if I got that out there. It's been great. It's been reliable. It hasn't broken yet. It hasn't cracked. That's just mainly a function of how you drop it, though. The couple times I've dropped it have been fortunate, where it landed on a corner and the case was able to absorb the blow, rather than landing on the face and something cracks the screen. But it's been a good phone, all considered. The specs were great, but okay, I wanted to get to like the couple reasons why I'm kind of souring on OnePlus. And the first one I sort of just touched on it there, which is the OS. It's kind of boring to me. And here's the thing: any phone is boring. All smartphones are kind of boring now. I'm older, so I came up when smartphones were getting really big and they were improving so much. And a lot of YouTubers have talked about this too. They used to be so exciting, and you'd get a bigger screen and like vastly improving tech every time. And now it's like they've matured and they've just kind of got to the point where it's all just like little iterations it's nothing amazing. And that's how I feel, you know. Any smartphone is kind of boring now. There's not really, to me, it's kind of a waste of money because, you know, okay, I got my 2-year-old OnePlus 7 Pro. It's almost 2 years old because I bought it in May, towards the end of May of that year, and it's almost April of this year. So yeah, it's like 22 months, and it's still going strong. It's still fast, you know. It's got 12 gigabytes of RAM, so I know it's got longevity there. You know, my vague plan is to keep it for 3 years, just because I spent $800 on it, and it was so much money. I bought it off contract. I was just like, look, I spent so much money on this thing after taxes and everything. It was close to 800. Actually, I don't think they charged me taxes because that was back before everybody had to charge taxes. But it was like, I think it was $750, and then it was like $778 out the door because I got some kind of like 6-month screen protection plan. I have no idea if that would have done anything if I had to crack my screen, but I bought it because it was like $20 or something. But anyway, so close to 800, and that was a lot for a phone, especially even 2 years ago. Especially for me, because I had always like waited for a sale and got my Samsung like a year or two old for like $400, $500, something like that. So that was a ton, and I wanted for the first time to get a phone brand new with the top of the line specs, and you know, really be excited about it. So I did that. But I vowed to kind of keep it, and I've already made it almost 2 years now. My original idea was to keep it 3, and so far I've been strong in that. I don't know if I'll actually keep it 3 or not, but part of me was wanting to trade it for one of the Pixel 4a's because I could sell it not too long ago for like $350. So I was like, hey, I can just get a Pixel 4a, and it's not really breaking my commitment to keep it 3 years because I'm just, you know, more or less trading it, so I'm not spending extra money, so I can get a new phone and not break my vow, as it were. But I just couldn't make myself downgrade to the Pixel 4a because it has a weaker CPU and it's much smaller and all this. And actually, I want the smaller now, but the weaker CPU and stuff kind of bothers me. And it has like 6 gigabytes of RAM instead of 12 gigabytes and all that. I don't know, I still might do it because here's the thing, I'm just bored of my OnePlus 7 Pro. It's almost 2 years old. I'm bored of it. That's the point. You get bored of whatever. You get bored of it, you know. And I'm just bored of my OnePlus 7. I'm bored of the OS. Now, people always say, oh, it's so great because it's been, I don't know. I don't really notice. And yeah, Samsung does have a lot of crap, but I don't really care, you know. In a way, it's nice just because it's different. Like, if I go to a Samsung, it's just different. It's going to be cool because it's got different stuff on it, a different style, everything. You know, it's just different. OnePlus is just the same, you know. So I'm just bored of it. That's the reason, number one, I won't get another OnePlus. Well, probably. I wouldn't say for 1,000% sure. You never know. Second reason, pricing. OnePlus used to be this incredible value breakthrough thing, right? They made their name on that. They came out with like a smartphone for like $299, I think it was originally. That had specs comparable to everything else. All the other top of the line smartphones. Now you look at it, and they are almost the same price as a Samsung. The OnePlus 9 here on my screen, the 128, it's made to compete with the Samsung S21, right? The vanilla S21, not the S21 Pro or whatever, the Ultra, you know, this and that. Well, the S21 that it competes with is $799 phone. This is $729. So you're talking about $30. I mean, $70 less. That's it. That's where OnePlus is at right now. You know, that's not much difference. It's not. They just don't have that like cachet factor now of cheapo phones. You know. Now, if this phone was, I don't expect $299, you know, anymore. Things move on, prices move on. But let's say, what if they could come up with a phone like this for $499? And let's say they took out a few things like wireless charging and stuff like that. Now that would be a great deal. I still probably wouldn't buy it. That's how bored I am of OnePlus. But it would be a great deal, you know. Let's say they could do $399. Now that would be amazing. That would be like the original, just blowing people's minds type of thing, you know. But all of that just, it's not the case anymore. They've just lost that. They're expensive. The new one is $1,069. And I think the new Samsung is like $1,100. So they're just barely cheaper than Samsung at each step. Another reason, big one, third big reason, Samsung. This is mostly, I think, if you have an education account on your Samsung.com. If you go to Samsung.com and you have an education account, okay? Which I do, and I've covered that in other videos as well. But basically, you can go, it just requires you to have an email address that ends in .edu, right? .edu. I'm not a student, so, but I went on eBay, and I learned about it from this forum that I talk about all the time as well, Slick Deals. You can go on eBay and you can buy an Edu account for like $2. So I did that. And I put it in. Now, apparently sometimes they ask you to verify that you're a student and this and that now, and like send a picture of your student ID, this, that, and the other thing. However the case, whenever I did it, I didn't have to do any of that stuff, and now it just works. Where I've just got a .edu account and I get the .edu, the education discounts, and they're quite handsome a lot of times. So that may be a caveat. The average person may not have access to some of the same deals, but they still have access to like most of it, because the main thing is Samsung offers you a huge trade-in value, okay? They offer you, like when the S21 came out, you could trade in like a S20, the previous gen, in for like 100 or 200, I forget which, and get the S21. And you can even trade in like the S10 and you get like a huge, like $700 credit or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. You can even go 2 gens back and you didn't pay that much for the S21. Now that really appeals to me, because think about it. It's the same as like the old carrier subsidies, where like you would pay your phone plan and they would give you the latest flagship for like $199 or whatever. They don't really do that so much anymore. This is like the same thing, just from Samsung. But here's the thing, Samsung only takes Samsung and Apple phones as trade-ins. They don't take OnePlus. And I've raved about Samsung's trade-in program before. It's great, and they usually give you, especially on Samsung products, like ridiculous value for their trade-ins. Like a lot of times more than you could sell it for. You know? I think they were giving $700 trade-in on like a S20, okay? So the point here is, and so you can get the S21 for like $100 if you're coming from an S20. $100 to upgrade. You know, you had your S20 for a year, now you get the latest and greatest S21 for $100. That was a limited time deal or whatever. I don't know what they're doing right now. But OnePlus has nothing like that. I've got a OnePlus 7 Pro. I looked the other day, they're offering me $150 trade-in on it. And that's if they're not as clear. I don't trust them as much as Samsung either. I've done Samsung's trade-in program many times, so I trust them to give me the value of it. First of all, Samsung, the way they have it set up, they just ask you if it's cracked or not, if you'll factory reset it or not, and if it turns on, I think. Something like that. You know, very simple questions, okay? If you answer yes to all those, you get the trade-in value. You purchase the product, they send it to you, they send you a shipping label, you get the new product, you send the old one back. It's so easy, and they've never denied my trade-in or anything. I've never lied saying it's not cracked when it is or anything like that either. But OnePlus, they just ask you some different vague questions on your trade-in, like, is it in good condition? I don't know what that means. I could send it to OnePlus and they could be like, oh, it's got this little scratch here on the case and the back or whatever. You know, that's not good condition, deny his trade-in. You know, I don't know. I don't have experience with OnePlus. I assume they don't, but the wording was vague on the trade-in conditions for OnePlus. And I just don't trust them. Like, I trust Samsung because they're a big, like, Korean, you know, almost half American company with a lot of operations in America. And OnePlus is Chinese. The Chinese companies generally do not have the best customer service at all. They're getting better, but, you know, it's not there yet. They have less of a United States presence, all those things. A lot of times I feel like you got to send your phone on a boat back to China or something. You know what I mean? It may not be the case, but... So yeah, they were offering me $150 trade-in on my OnePlus 7 Pro. $150 after just less than 2 years, you know, a phone I paid $750 for. That's pretty low trade-in value. Samsung on their 2-year-old phones, I don't know exactly, but they're probably offering you at least $400 trade-in value on it. If not 5 or 6. You know, they offer tremendous trade-in value at Samsung. and their wording is more, you know, cut and dry, where you know you're going to get it. And also Samsung has a thing where if they reject your trade-in, you know, it comes in and they say, we don't, you know, this has got a little crack or something, whatever it may be. So we're going to have to reject it. They'll notify you, and they'll give you the option of having them send it back to you, or they can just pay you like $25 or something for it, if you don't want them to send it back. But you have the option of them sending it back to you. Like if you have a good phone and you send it to them and they reject it, you can be like, oh, I know that phone's good, and send it back. You know, that's a nice peace of mind thing. I don't know if OnePlus has that. I don't think they do. So you see what I'm saying? I mean, OnePlus is just like, yeah, you don't know what's going on with them, you know. And like I said, for the OnePlus 9, they were offering me, I went through to the website, they are offering trade-in now on OnePlus. But for the 7 Pro, they're offering $150, and they were currently offering, I don't know how long this is good, probably just in the pre-order period, an extra $30 bonus. So, ooh boy, they're giving me $180 trade-in on my OnePlus 7 Pro. You know, like I said, that's like way half or less than what Samsung gives you. People say OnePlus 7 phones don't have any resale value. I'm kind of a OnePlus 7 fanboy to an extent. I push back on that, on the internet. People say that, and I say, look, they don't have resale value because the new resale value is going to be determined by what you have in reality. I mean, what the new price is. You know, if something sells for $200 new, you can't sell the used one for $250. It's just math, you know. It means that you're probably going to get $150 or so for the old. And so Samsung phones become pretty cheap. Like I think you can get the OnePlus 7T for like $399. I think at times you can get it for $299. You know, so that really limits how much I can get from my OnePlus 7 Pro, because the OnePlus 7T is just like a OnePlus 7 Pro, maybe even a little better. You know, if I remember correctly. So the fact you could get the OnePlus 7T for $299, $399. I think you can get it right now for $399 on their website, and it was $299 for a long time, I think. Really is going to keep down the value of my OnePlus 7 Pro, because why is somebody going to pay me $299 for my OnePlus 7 Pro when they can just get the OnePlus 7T brand new for that? You know, so that means they're going to pay me at most $200 for my OnePlus 7 Pro. You know, it's used, it's almost 2 years old. You know, so I always push back. People say, "Oh, OnePlus doesn't have resale value." It's more because they don't because their prices tend to fall on their older stuff, you know. But they're still boring. I don't want a OnePlus 7T. It's boring, you know. I'm bored of them, to be honest. They're a cool company. I mean, I'm for it. But here's the thing. In order to get all these awesome trade-ins in the Samsung, like I want an S21 now. Here's the thing. I also want a smaller phone. I got the OnePlus 7 Pro is 6.7 inches. I'm just tired of huge phones. It really was the first phone where the size started to kind of bother me. It was the biggest phone I ever had because they keep always going up in size. Although I think that's finally kind of stopped, but because they reached the limit. But it's just kind of finally got to the point with the 7 Pro where it's too big, you know. It's too big in my pocket. It's just too big. I mean, I like that in some ways for like reading and surfing the web and all that, but like for carrying, it's just a little too big. So I would like to go smaller on my next phone, and the S21 is the perfect size. I think it's 6.2 inches. That's about perfect. I wouldn't mind getting like a Pixel 4a either, but that might be a little on the small side even. But I feel like the S21 at like 6.2 is perfect. That's like significantly smaller, but not too small, you know. But yeah, so that's another. I don't know if OnePlus even has a phone in the 6.2 inch range. That'd be another thing that'd be nice. It'd be nice if they'd come out with like a 6.2 inch competitor. Maybe they will down the road and make it even cheaper. You know, if they could do like a 6.2 inch for like $5. But again, with these trade-in values Samsung offers, it's just really hard to recommend OnePlus at all. But here's the thing, you've got to be in the Samsung ecosystem to get the trade. That's what I'm saying. When I saw the S21, there was a point where the regular S21, which is exactly the model I want, I don't want the Ultra because I don't want it to be that big. So I wanted just the regular S21, the 6.2 inch version. There was a time where if you had an S20, that was like $100. I think if you had if you had an S10 or something, maybe S10e, it was like $200 or maybe $250, $300. It was cheap if you had a Samsung, and I wished I had a Samsung then, because what good does my OnePlus do me now? You know, if I had had a Samsung, then I could have got the S21 for cheap. But I can't. I would rather have a Samsung and get the new Samsung for $100 or $200 every year. That's still, if you think about it, if you do that for 3 years and it's $100 each year to upgrade to the newest thing, it's $300 over 3 years. And I spent $800 on the OnePlus 7 Pro. And what am I going to get for it when I finally get something new? You know, maybe $100. Like I said, OnePlus is offering $180 trade-in on it, $150 plus a $30 temporary bonus. So that means the real trade-in is more like $150. You know. So yeah, that's the, but in the trade-in values on Samsung.com are just crazy for tablets, for anything. They're just great. You know, but you need to be in the Samsung ecosystem to get it. I needed to have a Samsung phone so I can get the Samsung S21 cheap with a trade-in, you know. So yeah, that's the problem, and that's why I'm switching to Samsung with my next phone, because I want to be back in the Samsung ecosystem so I can get these ridiculous trade-in values. And I'll do it with their tablets. I do it with everything. They're just fantastic. Watches, you name it. Anything, you know. Once you're in the ecosystem, I traded in my S6 for a Tab S7 for $100. I traded in my S4 for S6 for like $200. You know, it's so cheap to to, and sometimes they had crazy deals. They had like the S7 Plus was like $350 or something at one point. I mean, it's crazy the deals they had with the education discount. I mean, that's insane on that device. That was like a flash sale or something a couple weeks ago. A couple months ago, maybe. A month ago, I think it was about. But yeah, so that's why this video is approaching 30 minutes, so I should probably try to wrap it up a little. But that's why I'm kind of getting tired of OnePlus. I'm bored of it. I'm bored of the OS. I'm happy with the phone, but I'm just bored of it, and I want the S21 because it's the perfect size and it has the newest CPU and everything. But to get the S21, I wish I had a Samsung right now so I could get it cheap. I'd probably get it, you know. I'd be a happy camper if I could trade in my current Samsung, pay $200-300 and get the S21. I'd do it, you know. But I can't do that with my OnePlus 7 Pro. I'm just stuck, basically. I mean, I could. I have the money where I could buy the Samsung. But like without a Samsung to trade in, I'm going to pay a lot for it, you know. Thing is, you got to do that initial buy into the Samsung. This $800 I spent on the OnePlus 7 Pro 2 years ago. Now I wish I'd spent that $800 on a Samsung, you see. Because I'd still be getting $400 plus trade-in value for today versus the $180 OnePlus is giving me for mine, you know. And, yeah, and I'm just bored of I will say the OnePlus, I did like some of the things about it that I was just looking at before this video, trying to kind of research this video. It has really good fast charging because it divides the battery into 2 parts. So there's 65 watt fast charging that can charge the whole phone in 30 minutes. That's great. And that's something Samsung doesn't have. I was looking at a review. I think the S21 takes like an hour or 2 to charge fully. Another thing I really like about the OnePlus is it comes with the charger, the 65 watt charger, with it for the retail price. Now that's great. Samsung no longer includes a charger and all that bunny. And I did find out I bought this ElecJet charger for my S7 tablet, fast charger, off of Amazon because I did a little research and figured out it worked with my ElecJet brand, ELEC Jet, Jet. I think it was like $30 or something like that, maybe 25, and it's a 45 watt charger, and it'll do the fast charging on the S7 tablet that I have. Because you have to have a very particular charger to work on the fast charging on those Samsungs. They have to be very particular. And this one was, you know, all the reviews and everything on Amazon, and I'm sure I Googled to find out which one it works on the Samsungs. And I found out it would also work if I was to get S21. It will do the fastest charging available for the S21. So I'm good there. And if you had a S20, the last gen Samsung, it will too. But the fact that, you know, it comes with a dedicated charger, the OnePlus, although I'm sure they'll get rid of theirs in a couple gens anyway. But still the fact that that it's the fastest charger, because I know another thing some manufacturers are doing now, that they're shipping with the slower charger. You know, they may have a fast charge option, but that requires you to buy a more expensive charging dongle. And the OnePlus comes with the 65-watt charger, I believe, in the box. Now that's great. That's fantastic. And 15-watt wireless charging. That's great. I will say, very good on that front. But for everything else, I just wish I was in Samsung's ecosystem so I could get their crazy trade-in values. And also the fact they've got a 6.2-inch model really appeals to me, whereas this OnePlus 9 is a 6.55, too big for me, And the price is too high. They're not doing the breaking the value chain anymore, And in the specs, this is like an 8 gigabyte for $729. Mine is 12 gigabyte, and it's 2 years old, So they're not even giving you like great specs anymore for the price. They're nice phones, don't get me wrong, of course, and I do recommend them. But like I said, to me, you want to be in that Samsung ecosystem so you can get the fantastic trade-in value. So if you're a gadget nerd like me and you're on the Android side like me, you never buy iPhones. That way you can just stay in the Samsung ecosystem, trade in your current Samsung all the time, get a huge trade-in value from Samsung.com. You don't have to go to a store or anything. And do that. Whereas with OnePlus, it's like, I'm stuck now. I'm not going to get a huge trade-in value. I'm not going to get a huge trade-in from Samsung. I don't get any trade-in from Samsung. I'm not going to get a huge trade-in from OnePlus. I couldn't sell it for much. I might be able to sell it for 200 or something. On Swappa probably. So yeah, that's, and plus, like I said, the operating system is boring on OnePlus. It's, neither here nor there, but honestly, I'd rather they just did stock Android. I don't know what that looks like because I've never had a stock Android phone. I know it's not going to be much different. But yeah, that appeals to me more than the Oxygen OS, whatever. So yeah, that's it. It's a good phone. I've had good. Another thing I will say, a little annoying thing, is with this OnePlus 7, it's kind of a tangent. It's not really relevant. With this OnePlus 7 Pro, it never had an always-on display, right? Which was a cool thing the Samsungs had when they came out a couple years ago. And nobody could figure out why, because the Samsung had them. And they said, "Oh, it's a battery life issue. We can't do it with good battery life." And everybody's kind of like, "Why? Samsung does it, And so whatever the problem was, they're supposed to finally get it. I've had this phone for it's not a big deal to me, but I would like to have it. Now my brother, it's a deal breaker because I told my brother like OnePlus, and he was impressed with it and whatever. But I mentioned somewhere like, oh, it doesn't have that always on display, and he's like, oh, I need that for whatever reason. I forget. He needs the always on display for his work or something. He just wouldn't buy a phone without always on display, so he wouldn't buy a OnePlus because it doesn't have always on display. Well, and I don't care, but I would kind of like it, just for something new to play with and just to have it. Well, the Android 11 update for the OnePlus 7 Pro, it's been, oh my gosh, it takes forever to do anything in the tech world. Like, I was reading about this Android 11 update like a year ago, and at that time I thought, oh, it'll probably come out in like around the end of the year, because I already knew. I think they were promising it in a couple months or something back then. And I was like, oh, it'll probably come out in like December, because I just know. Well, here it is, freaking April of 2021. Way beyond even my pessimistic projections. And they still don't have the damn Android 11 update out for this thing. I think I Googled just the other day, and it's like it's beginning to trickle out a little bit. Not everyone has it, maybe not even, just a minority have even gotten it yet, I think, if I understood what I Googled yesterday correctly. But it is kind of coming out, beginning to come out or something, however you put it. Finally, this has been like, I've been waiting for this thing forever. It's not a big deal, but I'm not one who obsesses over updates or even cares about them very much, because they never really changed anything on the actual phone, But this one was, but here's the thing, the Android 11 update was supposed to they were also supposed to, this had nothing to do with Android 11, but they were supposed to they had promised they were going to get always on display. So, I was excited about that. The fuckers, excuse my language, I was reading, they don't have always on display in the Android 11 update for the OnePlus 7 Pro. They don't have it. Like, I am so annoyed about that. Like, I've been waiting for this update forever, Again, I'm not even one to care about updates, but this was a major one, and it was supposed to have the always on display, so I was a little excited about it, just a little, and I waited so long, and it's now April, and they've been talking about this since like early last year, I believe. And it's got the Android 11 update, but they were like I think the always on display wasn't ready yet or something. I'll have to Google more now to figure out what the hell's going on, because you never can find out what the hell's going on. But what I saw was basically that the always on display is not going to be included in the Android 11 update. Maybe I know how to Google more, because it's always hard to find out what the hell's going on with it, but I don't know if it'll ever come now. Who knows? Or maybe they're just saying it's going to come later still. I don't know. But it's very annoying. Like, really, after all this time, you couldn't get that done, I don't know why they're having so much problem with battery life, and Samsung seems to be able to do it easily. Because I saw one reviewer, he had like the beta of the Android 11 update on the OnePlus 7 Pro, and he said, "Oh, well, it really does use the battery." He was complaining like it uses the battery a lot. So I'm like, "Oh, great!" So they weren't just BSing with the battery thing. Whatever they've done, their engineers seem to have a problem with getting the always on display with the battery life that they need. But anyway, so that's why I'm likely not going to buy OnePlus again, and why I've kind of turned on them. Several main things: the high price. They're no longer offering great value, really. They don't offer the great trade-ins. This is the main thing that you can get on Samsung.com that Samsung offers for their older devices. And what was the third one? Oh, just that they're boring, and that's the same for that. That's kind of more like if I have a Samsung on board of Samsung, then OnePlus would seem exciting. But you know what I mean? It's just a different ecosystem, so to speak, is kind of exciting at first, and then you get bored of it. So that's not really a fault on their part, but it is what it is. Anyway, so that's my video. Another 37-minute banger.